Scotland is part of the UK, along with England, Wales and Northern Ireland. Scotland's hills are good for grazing animals and the weather is perfect for growing lots of different types of food. The winters there are cold, so many years ago people would eat lots of foods like porridge, stews and soups to keep them warm. Haggis is a famous Scottish food. It's an unusual type of savoury pudding. On special occasions in Scotland, bagpipes are played as the cooked haggis is taken to the table, where it's eaten with neeps and tatties. Connor has washed his hands, put on his apron, and he's ready to cook.
I am going to be making vegetarian haggis with neeps and tatties for my friends.
And he's invited Cooper, Amy, and Alonso to taste a special ingredient before they come round for a Scottish meal later. What's that?
A piece of grass, maybe.
It's not grass.
It tastes quite plain. I won't eat any more of it. Nah, it's disgusting.
It's fresh coriander.
I would like to try it if I had it in a meal.
That's good, but not everyone seems to like it. Let's see if Connor can change their minds, because coriander is one of the ingredients in his vegetarian haggis. As well as coriander, you'll need butter, mushrooms, milk, chopped hazelnuts, potatoes, ground nutmeg, stock powder, a carrot, tinned kidney beans, water, porridge oats, black pepper, spring onions, a neep, which is also known as a swede, and some salt. What's first, Connor?
What I am going to be doing is I am going to be mixing the stock with the water. And then you would mix it.
Now time to drain your kidney beans and tip them onto a plate. What's next?
And we are going to be mashing the beans. It is really fun mashing the beans, and I mean really fun. So now that's properly mashed, what we need to do is pour the kidney beans into the big bowl.
Now tear up the mushrooms.
It's very healthy to put in every single part of the mushroom.
And carefully grate a carrot.
So, some people think that haggis is a wee animal that runs about the Highlands, but you can tell it's not.
You're quite right there, Connor. Make sure you collect all your gratings with a fork or a spoon.
After you grate your carrot, the carrot goes in the bowl.
Now add the chopped hazelnuts, porridge oats, ground nutmeg, and some black pepper. What's that?
It looks like cardboard. It looks like celery.
Oh, it's not celery.
Oh, it tastes like garlic or something like onion or something.
It's not garlic either.
Horseradish?
That's right, it's horseradish.
No, I don't like that. No.
Oh dear. Let's see if Mason can change their minds, because horseradish is one of the ingredients in his Yorkshire pudding with sausages. You'll also need cooked cocktail sausages, plain flour, eggs, broccoli, water, milk, black pepper, and vegetable oil.
Take the broccoli. I'm going to snap the broccoli into small pieces.
Then just tip into the dish and make sure you pour the water all over it.
When that's done, you need to cover the bowl with foil.
Very neatly done.
I'm going to weigh the flour onto the scales. The flour looks like snow, but really powdery. Next, we're going to grind some black pepper.
Then crack an egg into a mug, give it a whisk and tip it into a jug. Then do the same with another egg. And remember, to wipe your hands after touching raw egg.
We're gonna do the milk now. I've got to add some spoons of milk. And now it's time for a whisk.
That's it, Mason. Whisk it, whisk it, whisk it.
We've got to add the milk and egg mixture to the flour bit by bit because we don't want it to have lumps. This will be the batter for the Yorkshire pudding. My daddy came from Yorkshire and every time I go to my nanny and pop-pops, I have Yorkshire puddings with something special. Now it's time for my special ingredient.
And you know what that is, don't you? That's right, it's horseradish. Horseradish comes from the root of the horseradish plant. When the flowers on the plant die, the root is dug up and used in cooking. Horseradish has a very strong taste and can be chopped, grated, or made into a sauce that's often eaten with a roast dinner. Many years ago, some people rubbed horseradish into their heads to make their headaches go away. The Midlands is a region in the middle of England, which is how it got its name. Some people think that Bakewell Tart was first made in the Midlands. Bakewell Tart is a dessert that lots of families make at home, and there are many different stories about where the original recipe comes from. Like Orson's, most families have their own special way of making Bakewell Tart and will mix and match ingredients to make it just the way they like it. Orson has washed his hands, put his apron on, and he's ready to cook.
Now I'm ready to make my Bakewell Tart for my friends.
And he's invited Cody, Olivia, and Joshua to taste one of the ingredients before they come round for a very special treat later on. What's that?
I think it's a lemon.
It is a lemon, Olivia.
It's very sour.
Yes, sour and sharp.
Don't want any more of it. Sour. I don't like it.
Let's see if Orson can change their minds, because lemon is an important ingredient in Bakewell Tart. As well as lemon, you'll need raspberry jam, flaked almonds, ready-made short crust pastry, ground almonds, salted butter, caster sugar, an egg, and self-raising flour. First, Orson needs to oil his baking tin.
Dip the brush in the oil. You wipe it round and round and round on the edges and on the insides so it doesn't stick when we put the dough in. Now you get the flour and you get it on the board.
That'll stop the pastry sticking to it.
Then you get the rolling pin and just do a little roll on the board so the dough can't stick onto the rolling pin.
What a great idea.
Get the dough off the tray, then roll it with the rolling pin to try and make a circle.
Now roll it out nice and thin, Orson. Oh, and make sure it's bigger than your baking tin. Now carefully fold up the pastry.
Put it in the tin.
And unfold it like this. Then just push it into the tin.
I'm getting the bits off that's too much.
That's really clever, Orson.
Then we'll get the fork and do holes in it really gently so the pastry can cook nicely. And then you get the dough and put it in the fridge.
Now you need to add butter to caster sugar.
Start mixing.
What's that?
Carrot?
It's not carrot.
Melon.
It's not melon either.
It tastes like swede.
That's right, it's cooked swede. Theo's not sure.
It's not very nice. I don't like the taste of it.
Oh dear.
I like the taste. I eat it often, but not too often.
That's good, but can Gabriel change everyone else's minds? Because swede's an important ingredient in his Cornish pasties. As well as swede, you'll also need potatoes, shredded cooked beef, water, plain flour, spring onions, milk, butter, lard, and black pepper.
First off, you mix the butter, the lard and the flour together.
Just tip them into the flour and rub with your fingers until the mixture looks like little crumbs. Then shake the bowl to bring those lumps to the top and give it a last rub.
Now I'm going to add some water to the mixture.
And give it a good mix too. Yeah, well done.
I love mixing. I quite like making mess.
No, I can see that. But you're doing well, Gabriel.
It's easier to use your hands. And now I'm trying to get the pastry together.
That's it. Squeeze it into a ball shape. Next, put the pastry into the bowl, cover it and leave it to one side. Now Gabriel needs some shredded cooked beef that his mum made earlier today. He's then going to add spring onions, which he's topped and tailed.
I love eating Cornish pasties.
Remember to be careful with those scissors, Gabriel.
I'm putting the onions into the beef. And now it's time for my special ingredient.
And you know what that is, don't you? It's swede. Swede is a root vegetable, which means that the part we eat grows underground. Swedes have yellow insides, which taste sweet when cooked. Swede can be cooked in lots of different ways. Boiled, steamed, roasted, or even added to pasties for extra flavour. It's said that many years ago, Swedes were sometimes used by soldiers to fire out of cannons instead of cannonballs. How funny is that? Lexi's washed her hands, put on her apron, and she's ready to cook.
I'm making Glamorgan sausages for my friends.
And she's invited Safi, Roman, and Lily to taste one of the main ingredients before they come round for a very special Welsh meal later. What's that?
I don't know what it is.
Thinking this is like kind of vegetable.
I think it's a leek.
Well done, it's cooked leek.
Don't like it.
Uh-oh.
And it's really like squishy and stuff.
It's not my type of food I would eat.
Do you think Lexi can change their minds? Because leek is one of the main ingredients in her Glamorgan sausages. You'll also need plain flour, Caerphilly cheese, English mustard powder, white and brown bread slices, fresh parsley, eggs, black pepper, and olive oil.
First, I'm going to take a grater and grate some bread. I'm tearing up bread to put in the grater.
This is brown bread.
I'm grating the bread to make bread crumbs for the Glamorgan sausage.
Do the same with white bread to make white crumbs.
And I am finished. Now I'm going to pour this into the bowl.
And put half into another dish for later. Now crumble the Caerphilly cheese onto a plate.
It's just making me hungry.
Oh, me too. Add it to your bowl. Take some parsley, pull off the leaves, put them into a mug, carefully chop and put them into the bowl.
And I'm going to take an egg and crack it.
Check for shell and give it a mix. Tip into the bowl and do the same with another egg. Don't forget to wipe your hands after touching raw egg. Add the mustard powder, black pepper and give it another mix. Mix it, mix it, mix it.
Time for my special ingredient.
And you know what that is, don't you? Leek. A leek is a vegetable that's related to an onion. Leeks can be cooked and used as an ingredient in dishes such as soups and casseroles. In ancient times, the Roman Emperor Nero ate so many leeks, many people called him Porophagus, which means leek eater. Leeks are grown all over the world, but they're most famous in Wales, where it's the national vegetable.